The Nintendo Direct is coming, and we're approaching 3 years since the release of Engage. Now, all signs are pointing to a major return, and there are a lot of rumors stacking up fast. I wanted to go over just a few of those that we've been getting, and we want to dive into 4 different pieces of this story. The Nintendo Direct rumors themselves, a dev's LinkedIn post, Intelligent Systems hiring surge, and what this all means for Fire Emblem, when it releases, and what will come next. Nate the Hate, a proven leaker, predicted a few weeks ago that we would get a Nintendo Direct this week, and we just got a recent post from him that says, "To my knowledge, it's still happening." He's been accurate with Switch 2 dev timelines, prior Direct windows, game announcements, and we have other sources that are saying the same thing. Now, this doesn't mean that Nintendo Direct is a sure thing. Anyone who's worked on a project knows that these things move all the time, including internally. But the timing fits here. We've already had the Donkey Kong Bonanza release. We had the Pokemon Direct last week. We have the Nintendo first quarter earnings call on August 1st, which is Friday. All of that points to a very nice window for a Direct. You combine that with the leaks, and there are a lot of folks that are predicting this week. But I need to know, do you think we're getting Fire Emblem news? Let me know in the comments. So now that we have some very clear signs that we have a Nintendo Direct this week, it's worth it to go back and look at some of the rumors that we've had recently. And the first I want to see is this LinkedIn leak from Mariyama, who is a longtime 3D character modeler. And their LinkedIn profile says, worked on the sequel of Nintendo's SRPG on Switch 2 from January to April 2025. Now, obviously this means something, but I want to urge caution. There are reasons why this matters. Now, this is a project for the Switch 2. The timing shows that this project is active this year. And how many SRPGs does Nintendo really have? We have Advanced Wars, Mario Rabbids, kind of, and of course the one we're interested in, Fire Emblem. So why might this not matter? And this is why I would urge caution on this one specifically. This says he worked out of Tokyo. Now, Nintendo is based out of Tokyo. Intelligent Systems that does Fire Emblem is based out of Kyoto. It would be strange for a character modeler to be working somewhere else other than the headquarters, but not impossible. So just keep your eyes on this one. I have seen it criticized that there's only a 4-month window on here, but this is actually pretty typical. There are hiring surges around big releases just to help you get over the hump. So this is not something that would be out of the ordinary, and this is someone that has worked with Nintendo extensively in the past. The other thing to look at is Intelligent Systems hiring surge that has happened this year. It says they're looking for planners, artists, programmers, and sound creators, and it's all tied to a popular Nintendo series for the Switch 2. Now, a lot of sleuthy fans have done some math here, and that would bump Intelligent Systems staff up to around 208. Just for a frame of reference, during Engage, that was about 150. That is significantly more. The big thing to look at here is this is not maintenance mode. This is active production that they're working on. Now, there are a couple theories on this, and we'll get into those in just a second, but this looks a lot like they're running multiple projects. That could include a remake, a new mainline game, or a next-gen project that is just now kicking off. There are a lot of things this could be, but I want to go over some possibilities. We have Fire Emblem underwear, and I think these are hilarious. We've had a lot of good responses from folks who have bought these. I needed underwear, which is why I made these in the first place. Go check these out. The link is in the description and right above my head, but these are Emblem Undies. Let's get back to the episode. Our first theory. This basically says the next mainline game is in the works. This is the most conservative theory, I feel like, of all of these. We've seen the hiring spike. Development times themselves have continued to grow longer, and so there is a possibility that there is a longer time between Engage and the next game. But given the standard cycle of modern games, if this was the fact, this would put the release at around 2 years from now, and we'll have GameCube ports to tide us over, possibly. So that's the way that goes. There's only one game, it's in the works. All of this hiring is to really focus on that one and get it over the finish line in the 2028 timeframe, around there. Next we have Theory B, and this is the FE4 Genealogy of the Holy War remake, which would be in mid-development. So we've had rumors about this thing circulating since 2022, possibly earlier there, but this could have been delayed or quietly restarted. It would fit a gap between Engage and whatever else is coming. It could also be in development now to be released down the line after another mainline title. There are a lot of options. What I will caution here is that remakes have not traditionally done well, and I'm not sure they want this to be the first Fire Emblem on the Switch 2. Every time you release a new console, you are starting from scratch, and you want all of your best titles up front to get people to have buy-in to whatever that new system is. They're most likely going to be focusing on brand new things as opposed to remakes who, while the fan base enjoys, and I would as well, I'm not sure that that really is going to pull in the kind of numbers that they're looking for at this point. But that's not to say that it's not going to happen. We'll get to that in just a second. So our next theory is that the next mainline game is done and just waiting to release. It may have wrapped up in 2023 or early 2024, and it's just being held back in order to be released in the Switch 2 launch window, which, keep in mind, that launch window actually goes for about 6 months. So that could be anywhere from now up until early 2026. Now, Nintendo has a lot of first-party games they've already announced. There's a theory that the plate is full right now for 2025. If this theory holds water, it's why I would put it in the first of the year in 2026. Now, remember, we do have precedent for games being done and held back for release. Engage was famously finished around 2021 and then wasn't released until 2023. But if this is true, it is still very possible that we could get some kind of trailer or teaser either at this next Nintendo Direct or at the one after that. So keep that on your radar as something to look for. This next theory is my biggest, and I mean, for this one, you're really gonna have to put on the tinfoil hat, but this one basically goes, yes, the next game is in development, and what they have done this huge hiring surge for is the next Fire Emblem game after that. So this would be brand new to the Switch 2, completely native development. It would basically put this in the 2029 timeframe. And we could speculate on all the things that this could have. New Fire Emblem mechanics, Edelgard 2, the Edelgardying. Could this be an FE4 and they just want to make this remake huge and combined FE4 and FE5 into just this colossal game? But of course, this is my favorite because this means more Fire Emblem. The timeline for this would go something like this. We get Path of Radiance as a port in late 2025. We know that's coming. That's a fact. We get the new game in early 2026. We get the game after that in around the 2029 timeframe, possibly pushed to 2030 to fit in the FE4 remake in between the two. You can see why I love this so much, because this means a lot of Fire Emblem coming our way. Now, does the timeline fit? Yes, but only if we get a very early trailer or teaser for that next Fire Emblem game. Keep in mind, I really do believe that Path of Radiance port is the thing that's supposed to hold us over for a bit. So everything could shift. even internally to Intelligent Systems, when you work on these big projects, things are shifting all the time. But there's a lot of good theorizing to be had on what could be coming in the future, and I do think it's very promising for this franchise. So what do we have to go on here? If the Direct does in fact hit next week, you're going to be watching for any sort of strategy, RPG, or fantasy-themed reveal. It could really throw light on the Maruyama LinkedIn post there. The other thing to absolutely look for is any kind of Fire Emblem news, even just a title drop. But of course, we would rather have a teaser or some sort of code name, something coming up. That would be a lot of fun. If it is not teased, though, this is not the end of the world. We'll still be watching Intelligent Systems for hiring and dev leaks and any other signals to come. And the massive amounts of hirings they've already done are definitely a good sign that we have something coming up. If you're asking me what I'm expecting from the Nintendo Direct, with all of the news we've had, my expectations are low for any kind of Fire Emblem news. I think if we do get anything, again, it'll be short trailer, short teaser at best. Maybe even just a screenshot of Fire Emblem and then it fades away. I don't think we're going to get any big news, but that's not to say I would be excited if we did. I would love to be wrong on this. Just remember, a game might be finished, another one is clearly underway, and we will get Fire Emblem news soon. If you're looking for more on when the next Fire Emblem is going to release, I have a whole other video on that. Go check that out. It has a lot more facts and charts and wonderful things. Members, you are amazing. Thank you for all you do. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHology real soon.